Hi, I'm Dan Leonard in the East.
And I'm George Whittam in the West.
And together we are East-West Audio Body Shop. You know something? We have a great community in the voiceover world, and one of the most influential leaders of that community is our guest this week, the fabulous founder of FaffCon, Amy Snively. And you know, she's also a very funny lady who does stand-up. She'll be here talking about FaffCon and FaffCamp and whatever else we can faff about. I always have a great time when we get together.
I think she's going to be right here in the studio too, because she happens to be in the Southern California area right now.
Outstanding.
I've got a nice boring topic, but something important, and it's about microphone cables. Should you spend a lot? Does the brand name matter? What should you look for in a microphone cable, and why should you care?
Really. And in my tip of the week, something also a little offbeat, we'll talk about shelving.
Shelving? What?
Shelving.
Okay.
Tune in, find out.
All right, sounds good. We also have your questions and picks of the week, and I'll probably have another video from NAMM Show to share with you guys.
All right, EWABS, episode 85, Sunday night, 9 o'clock in the East.
And 6 o'clock in the West.
We'll see you then.
He's the home voiceover studio engineer to the stars in Los Angeles, California. A Virginia Tech grad whose knowledge of the latest recording gear is second to none. He's a voice actor and the home studio master, hailing from Buffalo, New York. His home studio skills and knowledge of voiceover recording is unmatched. When Dan and George talk shop, people listen, and the talk continues tonight. Welcome to East-West Audio Body Shop. And now, live from his high-tech facility in Santa Monica and his penthouse studio in Buffalo, here are George Whittam and Dan Leonard.
Hello, world. I'm Dan Leonard in the East.
And I'm George Whittam in the West.
And together we are East-West Audio Body Shop. Well, welcome back. We were off last week, but we certainly had a great time. For those of you who were in the in our Google Hangout last week for the Academy Awards, I had a good time. It was fun to have everybody in there, and it's fun doing those Google Hangouts.
It was, and I thought the host was great.
Seth MacFarlane, he was fabulous.
He was great, man. They panned him. It was almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy because of that bit he did with Shatner. You know,
I know that was hilarious.
I thought it was very funny.
I really thought
it was funny, yeah.
Yeah. But we had a great time with that. And thanks everybody for joining us last week. We've got a great show tonight. Just as always, it sounds like it's going to be boring, but it's never boring because when we talk shop, you guys just want to tune in. So we're going to talk.
Make it fun.
I know, but we're going to talk lots of shop tonight about voiceover and stuff that you guys really need to know about.
And if you were here live right now, not watching this on YouTube, you'd be able to be in the chat room and hanging out with Amy Snively, who's in there right now.
That's right. She's probably going to dominate it until she's on the air. So.
And a lot of other regular fans like Pat Sweeney, Melissa Exelberth. Who else is in there tonight? Pat's,
Tony and Tony Getting. Yeah. They're all in.
Diane Costello. Merritt. Sorry, Diane Costello.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Diane
Jason Lawson.
Merritt, yes.
Chris Tom. And a couple names one or two names I haven't seen before. This is cool.
I like it.
This is what makes this show so fun. Steve Tardio.
Right. But Amy will be joining us a little bit later, and we'll talk about FaffCon and FaffCamp and what other things we can talk about. Mm-hmm. She's a stand-up comedian. She's really funny. If you've ever seen her do her bit, so maybe we can have a little fun with her tonight.
I'd love to get her to do a little bit of it if we could. If there's any way we can coax her into doing it.
See, we don't have to coax her because that's just the way she is.
No, I know. I mean, I have never seen her act, but I was at FaffCon, so I got to see, some of her repartee. It was great.
That's right. It's a lot of fun. So, and you've got some stuff to talk about. I've got this thing on shelving tonight. And everybody's going, is he talking about shelving? You have to see it, and then you'll totally understand what I'm talking about.
Right.
Anyway, I know it's probably very nice in Southern California. It's about 20 degrees here in Buffalo. It's been snowing all day, not storming. I'm going to Florida on Tuesday for 4 days. So it's like,
You know how bad my toe is when it gets cold. It's starting to get bad, so I'm I got to go thaw out my toe for a couple of days and fix things at my mother-in-law's house. You know, what do I take when I go to Florida? I take a screwdriver.
You can't take that on the airplane.
I know. Fortunately, she has a really nice toolkit there.
Oh, good.
And what's my job? I have to fix the TV remote, fix the door, and get her router back online. I'm going all the way to Florida with Marcy just to fix those things. So, you know, I'll see a couple of friends down there. I know, you know, Dougie and I are going to try and get together. Doug, the announcer, and John Florian is down in Delray Beach. So we're all going to get together and have a nice, warm voiceover party.
That's going to be nice.
What's it like in Southern California right now?
It was a little overcast today, cool, warm, you know, kind of, it's been very dry. So like you get those temperature swings, but overall it's been very pleasant. Very nice weather today. Outstanding.
Mm-hmm. Well, why don't we get the show on the road here? You know, through the 2 tin cans of geeks and the string.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about microphone cables.
All right. Oh yeah, this was my idea, wasn't it? That's right.
It was yours. We're like, what are you going to talk about this week?
I know. Believe me, sometimes I sit there and I'm like, I sit there for a long time going, what am I going to talk about? So, yeah, mic cables came to mind because I've been dealing with them heavily lately. Because I've been doing some studio. That's not good English. I have worked on a considerable amount of studio wiring lately. I've been over at a studio in Hollywood, or actually Burbank, Toluca Lake area, that does a lot of sound mixing or music editing and all that kind of stuff for commercials. And they moved their booth, and they had to rewire 4 studios to reach the booth at its new location, because they have 4 rooms tying into one booth location. And it moved 15 feet, but that's still a big deal, especially when the studios are all tied together with patch bays that are soldered into each other. So I was doing a lot of soldering. So, you know, I got to get, really intimate with mic connectors and microphone cables lately. And, you know, microphone cables are obviously a very important part of most people's studio, unless, of course, you're just using a USB mic. Then the most important link is the USB cable. And don't get the two confused, USB cable versus microphone cable. You know, this is a microphone cable, okay? They call it an XLR cable. And this is a USB cable, okay? Or this. So don't get the confused.
Don't know the difference by now.
Yeah, but, you know, I'm not going to assume. The people in our chat room, they all know. But some of you out there may not know, because I get those questions all the time. Which end goes where and what? So a USB cable is a whole nother animal. But I'm not going to deal with that tonight.
Good.
So the XLR is what we're really talking about. This is what's going to plug any professional mic into your mic preamp or mixer or audio interface or whatever equipment you're using in your studio. And when I'm looking at microphone cables for speccing out a studio or upgrading a studio or just doing some installations, I don't spend a whole lot of time looking at the spec of the actual wire, even though maybe I should. But I actually spend more time. I look at the connector more than anything, because this is generally the weakest link in the chain. Is this thing right here, and if it's made poorly. If it's one of those, what we call a molded connector, for example, this is a Neutrik brand connector. These are considered the best quality industry standard style microphone connectors. And this is not a molded connector. And what that means is this thing can actually come apart. And this is my favorite type. The two biggies are Neutrik and Switchcraft. And I like the Neutrik because it can come apart and be inspected without any tools. Whereas the one you've got one on your end, Dan, I think yours is more of the traditional Switchcraft style, where it has a screw holding it together.
Yeah, let me get my screwdriver out here, and we can.
I'm not the biggest. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of that kind, because that screw often will come loose, and things get funky really quick. Sometimes inside, it's not even soldered. Sometimes they're just screwed. The wires are just screwed onto the microphone connector. Definitely not what you want. You want a connector that is soldered to the wire. You want to have a good, strong solder joint.
There we go.
You know, with nice, shiny solder connections. Yeah, if we get too close, it gets blurry real quick because it's not focusing. But I think
sort of like my actual vision, actually.
Right. I'm going to zoom way in on this, and let's see what we can get out of this Sony. There we go. That's actually not too bad.
Yeah.
So you can see those connections on there. They're relatively shiny, and that's a good thing. Solder joints should be shiny. If they are dull, that's what we call a cold solder joint, and that means it's not going to be reliable, and it could fail on you. So this is what I'm looking for. I'm not going to look at these at the store generally, but you know, there are a few brands that I'm going to kind of gravitate towards. If somebody has to bug me about brand names, I'm generally going to lean towards Mogami. They're one of the more reputable brands, and you don't have to spend an arm and a leg on a mic cable. They have like silver and gold series. Just get the silver series. Plenty good. You can get like a 15-foot mic cable to 20-foot mic cable for maybe what, 30, 35 bucks, 40 bucks tops. And that's all you really need. Monster cable, you know what? They're one of the innovators. They're one of the first ones to get out there and really market cabling to the masses. And therefore, they really know how to upsell and mark up cables that should be a lot cheaper. So chances are, if you're buying Monster cable, you're overpaying for a cable that could be just as good at a third of the cost. Okay? So generally, I'd say mic cables, somewhere between 20 and 40 bucks is your price range, and make sure it's got a nice solid connector on the end. This is the business end. This is where the thing fails the most often. This is the end that actually plugs into the microphone, and it takes the most abuse as you move your microphone up and down, or if you do raise and lower your microphone a lot, or if you have your microphone on a boom arm like this kind, or this connector, yeah. The connector can take a lot more abuse because you're moving the mic around so much. So, in fact, this is the point of failure I find with some of the stands that have built-in mic cables, is the connector itself. That seems to be where it fails. So, look out for the quality of the connector. I think that's really important.
Now, somebody's asking in the room, does this affect the quality of the sound? But of course.
Well, yeah. I mean, if there's a bad connection, it's going to cause all sorts of problems. It could allow radio interference, RFI, to come in. It could allow, which can be in the form of even an actual radio station. If it's a long cable run, you can be picking up a nearby radio station on that thing. If you live in Toronto and you're within a few miles of the CN tower, you're going to have a lot more problems. In fact, one of my clients and colleagues and good friend now, Graham Spicer, lives really close to Toronto, CN Tower, and we went out of our way to find a really good quality mic cable, but we got a special type of mic cable, and that was called a Star Quad style cable, which actually uses double the amount of wiring inside the cable to increase the rejection of noise. So if you have an extenuating circumstance like that, where you're really close to a radio transmitter, especially something as sizable of that, definitely look into something more robust like the Star Quad. But beyond that, yeah, just look out for quality construction. And let's see, I think I got off my train of thought a little bit. Dan, where was I before the Toronto thing?
Well, you were just talking about
you were talking about quality. Yeah. I mean, you could get buzz. Buzz is a really common problem. Hum, not as common with a mic cable, but that can happen. But it's almost usually a buzz issue, a loss or drop of signal. It's almost never something that fails completely, right? It almost never just stops working. Like if somebody's audio signal just cuts out completely, I don't immediately assume it's the mic cable. Of course, we check and make sure it's plugged in. But because a microphone cable is balanced, and then it has three wires inside, a ground, a plus, and a minus, any two of these can fail, and it will still pass signal. Whether it still sounds good or whether the level is the same is a whole nother story. but it's a lot less likely for you to lose signal completely the mic cable. Right. So yeah, quality of the mic cable is important. It's not everything. And oh, thank you, honey. Look at that. I just got soup. Isn't that cool?
Wow.
Homemade soup. Homemade soup.
Looks like split pea. Anyway.
So anyway, that's my spiel on mic cables. You got anything else to add on that?
Well, there's a question in here. Does a long run make a difference? Now, this is more of a historical question than it is, because today, you can have a pretty long run, especially if you're using a studio condenser mic.
Right.
You can have a nice long run with these things.
Right.
Where the problems come in is when you have lots of junctions, when you add a lot of things into the chain, because then you've got another cable between each device.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always preaching, keep it a very, very simple chain. We have a slightly longer chain for our show here because we're doing it live, and that's really what those things are for.
We have more equipment than necessary in a normal home studio.
Right. But with old, say, ribbon microphones like this one, you can't have really long runs because they
don't output a very hot signal, right?
They don't.
And the lower the level of the signal that the mic outputs,
the more interference you can get.
Yeah, the more gain it takes to get a good level. The more
brings
gain,
everything else up.
The more noise, blah 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 blah. I don't know. Another thing that the big thing now that's being done on stage is to instead of having the sound front of house, which is where the big mixing console is, where they mix the sound. Instead of having the mic preamps way out there in front of house, sometimes 200-300 feet from the stage, the preamps, which are down on the stage, so that really long signal is being pushed from the stage to the board at a line level. And so that's one way we get around noise issues. In fact, whenever a mic preamp can be close to a microphone and further away from the rest of equipment, that's usually optimal for the least amount of noise. But in a home studio, if you're not dealing with more than 40, 50-foot runs on anything, it's really negligible.
It's 10 feet.
Yeah, and in many cases, it's only a few feet between.
Yeah, it's like just use a short cord.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm a big fan of short cords. Use the shortest cord you can get away with for your need. Don't have 30 feet or 20 feet coiled up on the floor if possible.
Yeah, absolutely. See, you thought it was going to be boring, but see the things you learn on here?
Oh, I got one more brand to throw out there. There's a company called Rapco. Not one of the better known brands because they're more of they deal more with pro audio houses and installations, but they sell a brand of cable or a model of cable they call the Roadhog series, and they're real thick because they have a really thick insulation jacket on it. Right. And by the way, the thickness of the cable has zero to do with the quality. Okay, that's just how tough the cable is, how much insulation it has, but the Roadhog is a real thick cable, but it also happens to be a really good quality cable for a very affordable price. Somebody in one of the chat rooms recently mentioned that. So if you see at your local music store Rapco Roadhog cables, grab one. They will not let you down. I've had them in my kit from my live sound days for 15 years. None of my Roadhog cables have failed, ever. So, good stuff.
Great endorsement there. All right. Lots more here to come on East West Audio Body Shop. We got a tip of the week. We got some babe named Snively. We've got, what else we got going? Oh, we got all sorts of stuff here. So, stay tuned. We'll be right back here with EWABS. So, don't go away.
VO Studio Tech. Recording made simple.
Hi, I'm Peter McHugh.
This is Jim Tasker from Los Angeles, California.
Hi, this is Bill Ratner in Los Angeles.
Hi, this is Scott Rummel here in Yorba Linda, California.
Hi, my name is Rick Wasserman.
Hi, this is Tom Kane.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Marshall.
Hi, my name is Zurich.
Hi, I'm Mary McKittrick.
Randy Thomas chiming in.
Hi, this is Joe Szymanski.
Hey, this is Rick Robles.
Hi, my name is John Patrick Armstrong.
I was turned on to George by none other than Don LaFontaine, who always swore by his help.
George is absolutely awesome.
ISDN, Source Connect, Phone Patch, FTP, you name it, George has set it up.
It's really the best thing I've ever done for myself. I feel free, safe, fearless, like anything is possible in here.
Unless you like to look for opportunities to waste time, call George.
And he did all of that, long distance over the phone and the internet.
I'm very happy with George, and I cherish him.
Thanks, George. You make it easy.
And now, back to East West Audio Body Shop where every week it's Apollo 13.
Though it hasn't been lately.
No, actually, I think we've worked out a lot of the bugs in the system in the last 30, 40 episodes.
Cross both fingers.
I know. I've learned to shut my computer all the way off, not just restart it. I turn it off right before the show, and I turn it back on. And that seems to be a big part of the reliability of the show now.
Man, I remember when we first started, it was like, oh, we just crashed.
Well, yeah, that was in the Hackintosh days.
That was pre-Hackintosh, I think.
Or even pre-Hackintosh. Yeah, I was using a MacBook Pro at one point.
Yeah,
an old one.
Yes. Well, we've solved all those problems.
We've moved on.
Yes. Anyway, it's that time of the week.
Just sit back and relax. It's time for some announcements.
Whoa, I added a new element to that one. Sorry about that.
Whoa. All right, see, all that great technical stuff just out the window.
See, you jinxed it. You totally jinxed it.
I was trying to. People are expecting that. Anyway, what do we got going on here? Oh, we still have EWABS memberships. A couple of people have signed up, and they bother us constantly. No, and
not so much.
It's $39.95 a month. You have access to both of us, and we will answer any question you have.
Period.
Period.
Got a question about the spark timing on a 1967 Chevy with a 351 Cleveland?
Call somebody else.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's car talk.
That's car talk. Yeah,
getting confused.
Yes. All right. Thank our donors. People, you guys have been incredibly generous, and it's a big help.
It really is.
It cost us almost nothing to get this show going, and then it got going, and then it's like,
and now to keep it going, it's turning out to,
whoa,
yeah.
We're not just doing a podcast. It's a weekly live show, and it takes a little bit more than we had anticipated.
Yeah, they'll use Ustream feed to keep it commercial free, so you guys don't see those national spots that interrupt the show at the worst possible time.
Yeah, with those really well-paid voice actors that
You know what? I wouldn't even mind the commercials, but the problem is they preempt whatever's going on the show, and then it could be anything on any topic, and that just stinks. Makes everybody mad. So all of you who have been helping out with donations and our members, you're keeping those ads from being seen and interrupting the show. So thank you guys for doing that.
Right. And if you want to donate, just look right above George's head in the EWABS.net chat room there. It says donate. Click on that, and that'll be a big help.
Yeah.
What else we got going on here? Well, of course, Harlan and I are working on something. I'll talk about that later. We've got stuff going on.
All right.
Okay. I actually had to make a video for him. Not for him. It was in a chat room. Had to do with the Porta Booth Plus, which you'll actually see is in the background behind Frank and Mike here, who's wearing his Amy Snively cap tonight. Yeah, I'm wearing it. It's supposed to go on here, but I'm using it as a cap.
I like it better, actually.
Amy will like that when I show her what I do with that. Anyway, Voiceover World in Toronto coming up on May 4th. I'll be there, and Deb Monroe and Ellie Ray Hennessy. I think Pat Fraley is going to be there, and a few other people. It's going to be really, really nice. Go to www.voiceoverworldtoronto.ca or is it .com?
And if you are not in that part of the world,
you can go to FaffCamp.
You can go to FaffCamp. Yes, exactly.
We're promoting all of it. You have lots of educational opportunities.
That's right.
We want you to go to all of
FaffCamp.com. I believe it is. FaffCamp.com.
Type that in there, Amy, so we know exactly what that is.
Yeah.
Okay. What else we got here? We got FaffCamp is coming up. Studio Suit. You guys have been buying these things up like hotcakes, and they taste just as good. You can see, I've got the new. Show them the new Studio Suit logo.
Oh, is it in our Dropbox?
In the Dropbox.
All right. Hey, how handy. Hang on a second here.
Show them the new logo.
Because there it is.
I have finally found a way to ship this stuff and get it to people really, really fast. As a matter of fact, I shipped something to a client the other day in the morning, and he got it in the afternoon. I'm like, wait, I dropped that off at FedEx this morning.
There we go. I got the logo up now.
Okay, so there's the new logo.
Oh, it's sort of like a bit of a military spec looking, that kind of font. I like that.
Yeah, you know how many different stencil fonts I went through?
Choosing fonts is like a job. I mean, it's a full-time job.
I know. They must have full-time people to do it. Anyway, it's now on there, and it's going to be on. That logo will be on all of them, just not in a prominent place.
That logo right there.
Right. I mean, unless you want me to put it in a prominent place so you can see my logo every time you're recording. So, anyway.
Congrats. I'm glad that, you got it off the ground. You've been talking about this for a while, but you ramped it up relatively quickly, and the orders are rolling in. I've recommended it to at least 2 people, and I had just somebody ask me about it today in an email, actually.
So if you want it, I got it. And I will talk with you about it, and it's not just here, try this and put it in there. I will show you how to install it, explain how it works, and give you that personal attention that AT&T doesn't give you.
Right.
All right. Let's see. That. Yeah. Like us on Facebook, please.
And subscribe on YouTube. So Absolutely. Those of you who can't see the show live, and that's most of you guys are not watching it live, and we appreciate that. That's not always possible. We live in a TiVo replay society, so and I've just joined it because now I have a Fios DVR, so now I'm one of the TV watching masses. But subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss a single episode. We are on Twitter too. We're kind of, testing the waters over there, but we are EWABS_show on Twitter. Kind of rolls off the tongue, right?
Well, at least you're using it. I still don't get this Twitter thing. It's like I have to express my thoughts to somebody every 20 seconds. I don't even do that with my wife. Why should I do it with all you guys?
I am starting to take cues though from some of our social media mavens that we've had on the show and some of our friends. So like Trish and Terry and Dave Cavassier. I mean, I'm
use
starting
it
to listen
wisely.
to them.
Right, exactly. And finally, now we can show the other new thing that we just put together here.
Which thing is that?
About being a monthly sponsor.
Oh yeah, that thing. This thing right here?
Yeah, let's see. Put it up there.
Your name here.
Your name here. There you go.
See? You guys could have your name right there. We'd love to have you. Anybody that wants to market to the voiceover industry in a most direct possible route possible, and
it doesn't get any more direct than this, guys.
Yeah, you get replayed on our shows live, and of course as well on the YouTube channel, and we'd love to have you, and pop us a message at ewabshop@gmail.com, and we'll talk about how you might be able to work with us, either in the show or a banner or whatever. We'd love to have you be on board to help keep the show moving.
Right. It's all starting to meld together, this whole community. It's like, well, I'm doing this one. I'm going to your thing. You can't beat it.
I know, it's great.
Also, World Voices Organization. We have a new website. Well, yes, it's now world-voices.org is now worldvo.com.
It's both, though. Both domains still exist.
If you go, it will toss you to the other one. But you can go to worldvo.com. We are now taking applications if you want to join. Why did it take so long? Because we didn't want to do it half-assed. We researched, we worked, we talked about it. We made an organization that's going to do exactly what we planned on doing when we started talking about it, last spring. And so go over to worldvo.com, and you can fill out an application there and see what we're all about. And, we're almost at 2 years, George.
I know. Our 2-year anniversary is
March 22nd will be our second year doing this show. This is our 85th episode.
Unbelievable. You guys really keep coming back every week for this stuff.
We don't quite follow that, but as long as you do, we love that you're here. Anyway, time for tip of the week. You're like, shelving?
Here we go.
Play that footage and we'll discuss.
I've seen it all. Home studios put in basements, attics, closets, and crawl spaces. The resourcefulness and innovation I see is inspiring. You want to find the most quiet space you can away from everyone else and the outside world. So you found your space. Now you have to make it sound right. But here's where people make mistakes. Just as much as putting the right things in there, putting in the wrong things, or how you arrange things, can make a difference between the perfect home studio or something like you're in a sewer. The biggest mistake I commonly come across is shelving, above and below. If you set up under a shelf, you've created a space that allows sound to bounce back to your mic several times, very fast. So many times, I've listened to people's audio samples where I can immediately tell that they're under a shelf, and I'll say, "Are you under a shelf or a low untreated ceiling?" Give yourself plenty of clearance. That means don't be under a shelf, or if you have to be, treat it with sound dampening material. Setting up your mic on a shelf or desk. Bad. Why? A desk-mounted mic causes two problems. One, if the shelf or desk isn't dampened like the walls, it's the same as being under a shelf. You'll get rapid bounce back to your mic, causing bass reflex. And if you're loud enough, comb filtering, where things sound out of phase as you move your head. The other, and this surprises a lot of people, is that even with the shock mount, the vibration of your voice vibrates the shelf and transfers that noise to your mic. So what do you do instead? If you have to use a shelf to read copy, try a wire shelf like one of those California closet shelves, or even better, the good old high school music stand. If you can't find one at a garage sale, you're not trying. So the best way to record in a booth or anywhere is to have a floor-mounted boom stand. Get it off of the desk or connected to anything except the floor. That's the best way to isolate your microphone from anything else. And it's the way to prevent any of these shelf-borne problems. So take this knowledge and just don't put it on a shelf. And that's my tip of the week.
Yeah, I also, I forgot to mention, that one of the other things you can do if you have a shelf is you can go like this with it and angle it, because that also helps. But try to have some acoustical padding on there. Now, Uncle Roy noticed in there that how dead it sounds in my studio, and I recorded it deliberately in there so you can hear how Studio Suit deadens and something like that. But that's the whole thing. That's why you try to go for a totally dead sound, because if it's going to some place in post, you could see how easy it was to manipulate the sound to make it sound like I was in a sewer and then change the phasing and do all that other stuff. So that's why it's important to have as dead a sound as possible. And that's why I've been talking about room reverberation and things along those lines. Yep. Shelves are the worst. So you thought shelving was going to be boring.
You can add all that stuff in, but it's especially the comb filtering and stuff that's caused by shelving units and things. That stuff's really hard to remove in post. Fixing it in the mix is nearly impossible.
You really can't. Yeah. Once it's there, it's really there.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. Well.
Good job.
Thank you. It's always fun doing those. And you're like wondering, where do I get those pictures from?
I know. The lady sitting on the floor in the attic or whatever that was, or under the stairwell. That was hilarious.
It was I typed in low ceiling.
I've seen quite a few wasn't Cashman? I think Mark Cashman worked under a staircase.
Yeah, he was in a closet under a staircase.
Yeah, not too different from that for a very long time. So,
right. I mean, I'm in a closet too, but it's no longer a closet.
Right.
It's now a sound booth.
That's right.
People can say, was that a closet? No, now it's a sound booth.
Hey, if somebody listens to your recording and they think the first thing they say is, "Oh, your home studio sounds good," that's not necessarily good because you don't want people to think it's a home studio, unless of course they know specifically you're in a home studio. But the second they identify your studio as a home studio, I think that's where it might not be as good as it could be. It should really not sound like, it shouldn't sound like a home studio. should just sound like a professional studio. So.
Right, because a home studio is a professional studio. And that's why we're here on East West Audio Body Shop, to make sure you understand what that means and how to do it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Amy Snively's coming up next here on EWABS, so don't go anywhere because we'll be right back.
So what else are you planning on doing tonight? I thought so. Now back to East West Audio Body Shop with Dan and George.
All righty, and welcome to East West Audio Body Shop. Amy Snively.
Hi.
Are you there?
Hi, you guys.
How you doing, sweetie? Nice to see you.
Oh, nice to be seen.
You look good. You got the look great. Your studio looks great. You got your happy, smiling face.
Thank you.
Looking great.
Right. A beautifully decorated studio, by the way. See, now you understood. You have the angled music stand there, and the wonderful headphones decorations.
It's got a thick rug on it.
Yeah. Tell us about the headphones, which are almost exactly over your head right now, which is pretty funny.
The ones on the wall there.
Oh, yeah. Let me get out of the way. So let me see if you can see that. It's a wire sculpture.
Ooh,
oh, man, that's cool.
Wow.
Isn't that neat? Oh, and I have something else cool. Hang on a second. Let me get this down. See, it's not plugged in. Let me hang on.
No problem.
Hang on. It's gonna be totally worth it.
Totally worth it.
Watch it now. Watch my.
I'm breathing with bated breath.
Look at the copy stand. Ready?
I'm ready. Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that's that mighty bright conductor stand light. Oh wait a minute. No, it's not. It's your. What's going on there?
A little lighted headphone stand. My headphones are over next to my other microphone, so I don't have my headphones handy. But yeah, it's like you hang your headphones on this. So
that's pretty slick, man.
Light. So I was gonna put it like here, and
right.
I actually use it, so I just put it on my stand.
That's awesome.
It was totally worth it.
It
was worth it. I love it.
Anyway, Amy, you've been on the show before when we've been at FaffCon, and it's, by the way, it's been a riot doing the show from FaffCon. We don't get to do remotes a whole lot.
No.
So fun. What a highlight.
Yeah. And the first one we did in Harrisburg, it was like still one of the most watched shows we've ever done.
It is.
Really?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's got a huge number of views on YouTube.
That was really fun. So fun. Okay, wait a minute. Let's watch this. I'm putting headphones.
Okay.
Oh man. Okay. You're allowed to plug where you got that.
Yeah.
Where I got that little lamp?
Yeah, well that headphone, the light up headphones.
I think it was from Pottery Barn Teen.
Get out of here. Really?
Okay.
Never mind that title. I just called Dan Snively in my lower third. That was
nice work.
Was hilarious.
All right. Anyway, Amy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
Because we know you're a very successful voice actress and all this stuff. How did you get there from wherever it was that you came from?
Well, I was an animator.
You were an animator.
Yeah. I went to I was doing something else. I can't remember what I was doing before that. Anyway, I went to animation school, and then got a job just during the .com heyday. Got a job as an animator working for a company called Radical Mail. I also worked for Flinch Animation Studios briefly, where I had the opportunity to work on the Muppets and Space Interactive Adventure. I also worked for Toon Mail and did some animation for e-greetings. And so I really had a lot of fun getting to, as a Flash animator. I was traditionally trained in 2D animation. And then unfortunately, when I was intending to work in 3D animation, and I have an inner ear problem that made me get motion sick when I was working in Maya. So I stopped there and started focusing on Flash, where I could work in 2D. At the time, that was before, there's a lot of action scripting and things like that. And then worked at a place doing streaming multimedia emails that people would come in and do voiceover. They'd come into the booth. I worked at this really great studio. These guys would come in. Hi, everybody, get behind the glass. They go in there. They speak into the microphone. I'm like, what the heck? I'm like waking up every morning, going here, opening up my veins, bleeding into my keyboard. And this guy comes in and he walks in there, goes on the microphone, and everyone's like, yeah, great job. He goes, I'm like, what the heck am I doing wrong with my life? So I got promoted out, and I got an opportunity to work as a product manager for this streaming multimedia email thing. It was an extremely rewarding experience. Got an opportunity to work with some amazing, amazing people. But it's still stuck in my head. Like, So I got some training, and even though I'm in LA, I approached it, since I've come from an industry family, I approached it as if I were an out-of-town talent, and decided not to pound the pavement and get an in-town agent until I had gotten all the green worn off. And so I pretended like, I just acted like I was out of town. And because we are living in the 21st century, or at the time, 20th century, and we live in this amazing opportunity to not even have to physically be anywhere. I just skirted the whole, hi, I'm in Los Angeles, will you be my agent thing? And until I was a solid booker, and so that was it. So I've been full time with this being my only source of income. Personally, gosh, it's going on 7 years, full time.
Yep.
So 10 years all up.
Yeah. Wow. So, people would know you from doing voiceovers and stuff like that. And I remember I'm meeting you at Voice 2010.
Oh yeah.
And we were doing that play
when we first met. Gosh, it seems like a million years ago. That can't be right, right?
Yeah, we were doing that play that Mark Cashman wrote.
Yeah.
And
I met you before then.
Had you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Either that just was, the mustache just,
That may be it. Yeah, I mean, we all cross each other's paths. That's the great thing about this business, is that, when the first time we all got together for Voice in 2007, geez, in Vegas, it was like, I know who you are. It was.
Yeah, I thought that's where we met, was in Vegas.
Maybe it was Vegas. There were so many people that we met there, and made so many friends.
Landmark moment in my career and in my life. So many people who have gone on to become what I'm sure will be my lifelong pals were the people that I met at that place. That was the first time that we all got together physically
in one room. Yeah.
A lot of us knew each other from the VOBB. I had been on the VOBB quite some time. And, people who are, the people who, I always say this, the people who will be at my funeral, hopefully not anytime soon, are largely the people that we met there,
Yep.
I not to
would
die.
Agree. Yeah, please don't. That would not be good, especially before FaffCamp. Anyway. So, I have a feeling that perhaps led you to the idea of FaffCon, and but what is, first off, everybody wonders, what is faffing?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
Well, it occurred to me that there really wasn't, in my previous life as a product manager, I had read or come to the conclusion, when you're designing a product or marketing a product, how specificity is key, where you try to reach everybody, you reach nobody. So, and I also was a public speaker for many years before I got into that game. and I was a writer and a speaker and talking to small mom and pop businesses. And I remember doing this whole shtick about, if you could be like so awesome with this bow and arrow and you could aim it and it just be perfect. But if you don't have a target on the wall, you're wasting your feathers. So, if you're trying to be all things to everybody, you will be inadequate at meeting anybody's needs. And I felt like there was an underserved population. I felt like I was a part of that population, despite the fact that there's some kick-ass things that you can go to in our business and classes and workshops and things like that that are just amazing. As far as a group experience, we can continue going to a million different kinds of things and get, a lot out of them. I'm not saying that we shouldn't. I'm just saying that there should also be this other thing, not trying to compete against anything, but just this other little thing where it could be laser focused to this specific population. And that is the person who wakes up every morning and slaves over a hot mic. So when you're talking from the podium about that to that person, you're not also trying to say, yeah, and if you're just getting started, or if you're, also a radio broadcaster, but if these people, this group, those people didn't have something. And so that's what, and then of course I brought it up to some pals. We were talking about on the VOBB, and Philip Banks, a good friend and person who I treasure, said something about that I was faffing about, and I said, well, that's not true. I'm a woman of action. And he said, no, you're the queen of the faffing. And I said, well, then why don't we just give up and call it FaffCon? And then DB Cooper, who I adore, said, win, like a full screen GIF of win. And while we were still having that online banter that was really felt very real time, people were just posting in there, even though it wasn't a chat room, it was on a bulletin board. I just went and registered FaffCon.com as a joke, went into Photoshop, designed what is still our logo today, and put that up on the FaffCon.com site, wrote coming soon, and posted the URL in that thread, and thinking it was just a joke.
And then you really had to do something about it.
Really?
I was really going to have the event, but I hadn't named it. But then, of course, it was just so funny. And since it was going to just be this little inside thing, I didn't really feel like, there's an advantage. You Google FaffCon, you're only going to get FaffCon. If I named it kitchensink.com, we'd be up against Kohler's. So, just having it be this really unique, it's only us. If you're talking about a Faff event, it's us. That's why we stuck with that same theme. I've toyed with the idea of having FaffCamp have a different name. And then I thought, why, we together as a voiceover community have built this brand of FaffCon, and it means something. So I thought, well, it's done. We can't go back now. We're stuck with Faff.
Hey, we're stuck with East West Audio Body Shop. So I think you picked the better name.
I love that. I love the Audio Body Shop.
It's just too long.
Yeah. Well, that's why we changed it to EWABS.
Yeah.
And all our EWABian friends out there. So, I mean, there's a lot of people who watch the show who've been with us. We've made some great friends going to FaffCon. But for those who have not been there, explain a little bit about what it's like and what the process is.
First FaffCon, and then explain FaffCamp.
Then we'll get into FaffCamp. Yeah.
Well, FaffCon is a participant-driven unconference for working voiceover professionals where the agenda is set at the event itself. On the first day of the event, we actually put a grid of masking tape up on the wall and invite people to write the name of their topic and their own personal name and write it on an index card. And we stick it on a great big grid. And then that grid, you take a picture of it with your phone because that is the agenda for the weekend. And it's very nimble. At past FaffCons, we have added another row of tape. We just stick cards places, and it's just very, very nimble.
I love that part about it. Just the malleability and the spontaneity of it.
Right.
I want to do something. Okay, just put it up over there.
Exactly.
It just happens.
And the reason why I chose that format is because with this particular crowd, there is, anytime you get any of these people together, there's going to be more expertise in the audience than there is on the stage. And so I thought, well, let's put those on the stage, quote unquote, And of course, there's the additional layer that we all know, which is that when you go to a conference, the people who are speaking to you from the stage are really starting the conversation. But a lot of times the meat is what is taking place at the bar, in the hallway, in the ladies' room line. That's where the stuff's really happening. I know the ladies' room line is a real big one for you, Dan. And so the having a lot of that hallway conversation built in, FaffCon is lightly structured so that those organic conversations can happen. And so that people, all they have to do is just come with an open mind, trust the process, trust the people, know what you want, be responsible for your own learning. And then, of course, because FaffCon is unique because of the fact that the people that are participating in the event are also expected to be the content producers of the event. We run it like a pitch-in. And you've heard me say that I'm just the lady in the town square with a big pot of boiling water and a few rocks in the bottom of it. So it's like a stone soup. So, expect everybody to, when you come to FaffCon, you're expected to, bring that stalk of celery or a, lamb shank or whatever it is, and we just stick it all in the pot. So we, when you can't just register for FaffCon. You apply to come to FaffCon, and then there's this vetting committee, which I'm not on. However, I do have veto power, and I can advocate for somebody if I think that they are an asset to the group and they are being passed up unfairly. But I don't micromanage this thing. Try not to. The people on our staff might disagree, but they had this whole vetting thing, and those people remain anonymous in order to preserve the integrity of the whole thing. So we don't want people to know who is on the vetting committee, so that they will not be. You should see the letters that I get. People who don't know the process and say, "Hey, Amy, so is there anything I could do to help get Joe in?" It's like, what? So if people, it's amazing. He said, "Oh, hey, just one more thing. Thanks for letting me into FaffCon. I got a couple of buddies. Look, wow, there are people I have slept with on the waiting list. I can't help you, sir." So who do you need to know? It's like, well, and they don't know who I am. That's the beauty of it. Really, I try not to have it be the Amy Snively show. So I kind of really tried to take a back seat, which is why we have the inflatable dolphin, Faffy, who is the front woman for this whole shebang. So that it wouldn't be Amy all the time, and there are other people who step in and serve as Faffy under certain circumstances. Natalie Stanfield-Thomas does a kick-ass job answering some of Faffy's email, and then conferring with me on communication issues. And Lauren is sometimes Faffy, John Freeman sometimes Faffy. The people are Faffy, in order to be able to handle the onslaught. There's more than one dolphin really can do. But
your whole pod.
Exactly. When people don't know who I am, it's like, they'll say, "Hey, Amy, maybe you can help put me in touch with the person." It's like, yeah, maybe I can. I was just Googling around. You seem to be pretty involved in FaffCon. Are you going to this next FaffCon? Yeah, I think I am. It's pretty hilarious. So
that's sweet.
So we keep the vetting committee sort of like, and I like it that way. Keep the vetting committee sort of on the QT so that they can't be corrupted, because otherwise I think they could be.
It's working though, because it's great to just get together with other professionals. It's our, it was twice a year religious retreat, and it's really, I would say it's therapy. It's voiceover therapy groups, and we've had some very emotional times at them. People need some support, and it's been absolutely wonderful. And so we really appreciate.
Yeah, we tell people just to come and be vulnerable, and to let their egos stay in the car, leave them at the door, because you can't. FaffCon is not a glossy, fake it till you make it, rah, 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 selling you pipe dreams and anything. There are, there are less than scrupulous show business related educational outfits. We've seen them over the years in the on-camera world and modeling and in voiceover as well. The minute you say that you're a voiceover, there are more people who want to sell you something than to buy from you immediately. People want your money. And because they know you've got a deep and abiding passion, you're a mark, And so I wanted I wanted us to be the white hat. And there are a lot of white hats. There's plenty of white hats to go around. I'm not certainly in no way casting aspersions.
Geek speak for good guys.
Good guy, yeah, if you were wondering.
wanted us to be like the Consumer Reports of the voiceover world. I wanted us to be this neutral space where we would, where you could come to a FaffCon event and we're nice, but we're going to tell you the truth. And I, unfortunately, a lovely woman emailed me the other day asking about FaffCon, and she clearly has talent and seems like she's extremely smart. And it broke my heart, and I think I've pissed her off. She's such a lovely, lovely girl. But I went and I listened to her demos, and I know for a fact that the vending, she was just, I didn't want her to think, well, I'm not going to go to FaffCamp. I'm going to wait and get into FaffCon. The first 100 who qualify make it into FaffCon. We sold out in under 7 hours last time. It's really hard to get in. If you've been a working pro for under 5 years, it's really hard to get in unless you have there's some mitigating factor. Like you're just amazingly talented. You've got top representation. You've booked some national work, or you've got something from your previous life that is of benefit. So, like, let's say that you're a, I don't know what,
stand-up comedian.
Yeah. You're a search engine optimization expert, and you are also been doing voiceover, and you've really been earnestly working for 2 years. That person would have we'd look at them more closely. But this girl, I went to her website. Very pretty website. Listened to her demos. They weren't pro demos. They were, they had like in between the first cut and the second cut, there was like some static, like that, that
like
sort
it
of
was a record. Yeah.
Yeah. Some old school fade out fade in. It wasn't an LA standard demo, and you have to have a demo that meets LA standards nowadays because of the fact that, you can be in, I don't know where, name your favorite, Butte Falls, Montana, or wherever you can be in some
Moose
place.
Jaw, Saskatchewan.
You could be there.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say Butte, Montana, but
okay, Butte, Montana. Okay, the thing is that I have probably an agent in Butte. I don't know. You're competing with people from all over the place. So there's no such thing as the local talent anymore. It doesn't exist. So I shared that with her, and I don't think she took it well.
Oh well.
I feel bad.
So
that's showbiz, kid.
So that's why FaffCamp came to be, because you wanted to allow more people in. Is that the idea?
Well, that at the very first day of FaffCon, we had 38 people who were fully qualified and had met every qualification who we would have loved to have had at FaffCon, still languishing on our standby list on the first day of FaffCon.
Mm.
And these were not people who didn't make the cut. These were people who had made the cut and more. I mean, we had people who you would consider voiceover celebrities on that waiting list.
Mm-hmm.
And, we don't bump people up if we, it's all very, we really try to keep very integrous about it.
Democratic, maybe.
Yeah, not quite democratic. But
maybe there's a better word for
it. We just try to be fair.
Yeah.
Impartial,
yeah.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking. And, I lose sleep over that, and I'm getting emails from people who have been to every single solitary FaffCon, just happened to be skiing that weekend or whatever. Because, it's all about setting your alarm, sitting at that keyboard and hitting refresh. I mean, it's like, you not only do you have to have the professional qualifications, you've got to have a kick-ass internet connection.
It's like buying U2 tickets or something.
Right, or trying to get an A seat on Southwest Airlines.
Exactly. I often liken it to.
And that's why I'm there. I'm watching the clock. Go.
Exactly.
Do it.
And so that broke my heart. And in addition to that, at least that many, if not more, and I'm really thinking close to 50 people, just chose not to get on the waiting list at all because they just knew it was futile. They were just sending me notes. Hey, is there a chance? No. I'm going to be honest with them. There's no chance.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, I had, ever since that one guy who I adore, who shall remain nameless, emailed me to let me know he had already bought his non-refundable ticket from Tokyo to come to FaffCon when he was like way down on the waiting list. Oh my God. I really, so I was encouraging this FaffCamp instead. But here's the thing. FaffCamp is not FaffCon for people who can't make it into FaffCon. It's not. FaffCamp has been in the works for a lot longer than people realize, because I didn't want to tip my hand until I thought I could really do it. You guys know that FaffCon had our 4-event, which ended up getting extended into 5-event launch sequence every month, but it was always meant to be an annual event to make room for a second event with a slightly different program. And this event, while people have been saying, you've got unlimited rooms, but that's actually not true. We have room for just only a little bit more than we have at FaffCon. But we don't have to be as strict about it. It's not limited to 100 because of the constraints of the actual program. So there are changes to the program that make it easy for us to incorporate the awesomeness that we love about FaffCon while having that participant-driven stuff happen in advance of the event. So there's less chaos, and so that gives room for makes room for a few more people. In addition to that, I don't know if you guys have been to the FaffCamp website. We've got some new statistics that went up today. 75% of people who have registered so far for FaffCamp have been in the business for 77% have been in the business working for at least 6 years. 43% 20 plus years. It's working pros. Only 13% have been in the business for 3 years or under. Mm-hmm. So it is not a dumbed down FaffCon at all.
So how's the program going to be different then?
Well, first of all, and I do encourage you to go to the site because it's very, very illuminating. I'm saying that to the planet. But if you go to about or details, you kind of get a sense of it on the details page. If you just click details and don't scroll down to the schedule, you'll see that we've got Friday, we have an expo. And you guys know that there's no selling from the FaffCon stage. Same thing with FaffCamp, but product demonstrations are hugely interesting and very important to us. So we carved out space for them in order to make sure that there's a real clear boundary between the things that are the participant-driven stuff and the sponsored content. So all day on Friday, we've got the expo stage where people will be doing product demonstrations, software demonstrations, tips, and it's going to be amazing. And we've got a little tabletop trade show going on there. And that's all happening that whole day. And the really cool thing is that it's not happening simultaneously with the rest of the program. It doesn't compete against anything. So you're not making a choice to go to this at the expense of missing something else. Mm-hmm. And also exhibitors are not twiddling their thumbs while people are inside the breakouts, because there's nothing more frustrating than that. So we've carved out a day. I plunked down the big bucks to have that entire ballroom for that day. And while we have the little expo stage, it's all happening in that big room. So that's fantastic. Then on Saturday and Sunday, we've got main stage presentations, which are of more broad appeal to voiceover professionals, all aimed at that working pro. Then we also have breakouts, which are sort of give you an opportunity to sort of hone your niche. Then we're doing something completely new, which is topic tables. And that is, if you look into a ballroom and you see round tables, just like you're going to have lunch in there, each one of those tables has a little stanchion in it, like you're at a wedding reception. And it'll say, George Whittam, whatever. It's like your whatever topic.
Microphone cables by George Whittam.
And you have like a map that's got circles drawn on it. You actually, when you register, you can pick three topic tables for each of the rounds of topic tables. So you go in, you go to the table, you're sitting at the table, just 10 people and George Whittam, and you're able to have a real conversation about your specific thing and ask, it's so kind of cool and casual and low key, but it's got enough structure so that you can find answers, and also helps people connect with each other based on the things that they're interested in. It's because even if you've been a working pro for 25 years, you're still new at something. You might have not done an audiobook before, or you've never done e-learning. You've always just done commercials, or maybe you're an audiobook guy and you've really wanted to just start, doing in-store audio commercials. Like you're pushing your cart through the drugstore, and you're just like, why am I not that guy? So we're all new at something, and this gives you a chance. The little things that wouldn't really be expandable to a full session. Get these covers, and then bing, and then you get up. It's like speed dating.
Speed faffing.
Yeah.
Somebody said that in the chat room.
Oh, and you do that, and then that leads right into lunch. So you'll grab your lunch, and you can sit down at your table with, give the poor mentoring the topic table, bring him his lunch, and the conversation just continues through lunch. And that's just, it's such a big priority of mine, and it has always been to help people connect. And this is just a great way to do it. Then we also have lightning talks. So exciting. And that is, oh my gosh. So imagine the stage. You got the microphone stand up there. And this is going to be how we're going to wrap this puppy up. There's going to be no excuse for anybody leaving FaffCamp without getting their personal pet question answered, or their thing that's weighing on their soul, expressed. So 5 minutes. The timer starts. You're at the microphone. You got 5 minutes. You can share your awesome tip about how to make a microphone stand out of PVC, or whatever. And when you're done, you don't have to use the whole 5 minutes. Finish up, step off, next person's on. If you are still talking when the timer goes off at 5 minutes, you don't get to finish your sentence. We're not going to say, okay, wrap it up. We'll give you a 1 minute warning, but mid-sentence, someone else is going to jump into that. So it's going to be funny.
Cool.
So
kind of like TEDx, but not quite as, it sounds a lot more fun though.
So yeah, so it's going to be fun. There's something else awesome that we're doing too. The lightning talks, breakouts. There's something else. Oh, we have an industry panel Friday night that is going to address what does it really take to make it in voiceover today? What does it really take? Not selling you a, bill of goods. Really, what does it take? If you and back to the beginners, we're not vetting people and shutting out people who are industry newcomers, but the website is just full of warnings. Every time that we talk about criteria to get in, there is some dire warning. Yeah, you can come to FaffCamp if you're brand new. You totally come. Watch out. This is like real in the trenches stuff. This is a lot like getting your first tennis racket, going out on the court and playing against, Venus.
That's right.
But it'll help you. You'll learn what tennis is about. And there's no way to get better at the game than to have to be playing, your first couple of tennis matches on Wimbledon, so that's what this is. And so you're not going to have things chewed up and pre-chewed for you. It's not going to be, there's no pablum. This is what FaffCamp is, a genuine bona fide industry event. There's no veneer on it. There's no shiny gloss. It's the real thing. These are real people who are really, really doing this. And if you're that kind of serious voice talent, if you're beyond the, tell me I sound good, mommy stage, and you're like, okay, what does it take? If you're that person, come to FaffCamp, and we're going to trust that you're going to self-select for the smart people. We're not going to shut you down. We're going to trust that you know yourself. And because we don't want you to ask questions that are not on topic for the broadest demographic of attendees, we're building in opportunities for you to meet with mentors when you're an industry newcomer so that you can get your answers and get off on the right foot, and we can help you with the information we wish we had when we first got started. So FaffCamp has this a dual undercurrent of sort of on the side, on the sly. We're targeting at our audience, but we also have the ability with this flexible program to be able to help some industry newcomers along with stuff that to save them money and prevent them from going down to a path going to end up costing them money down the road. Keep them on, keep them in the fold. We don't want these people showing up on Fiverr. We're trying to get to them earlier in their careers because for the good of the industry.
Right. One of the great things that comes out of it is the follow-up with everybody that goes. It doesn't really end when we all leave. I mean, there's lots of tears and lots of hugs and stuff like that, but we've been able to keep it going. One of the things that we started at the last FaffCon is stand-up groups. And Every Monday, 8:30, we've got our Eastern time zone stand-up group, and we get together and we challenge each other. It's important to do that. And we owe that to you for starting that sort of thing. And it's a great thing. And I think that, there's some other different concepts with that, but that's something that comes out of FaffCon. And I think it's great that you've been able to create this flowing thing that goes from one to the other. And so it's just, we get together, but it's always happening.
Exactly, because we have managed to form a genuine community.
Absolutely.
That's the thing, is that that wasn't by design. I didn't understand that was going to happen. A lot of things have been exciting, serendipitous, synergistic kinds of things that just came from the fact that of what people brought to the big pot of boiling water. How many rocks did I stick in there? I don't know, but the little dash of cayenne pepper.
I still have my rock, by the way.
But a real community started, and the stand-up groups were born out of something that I felt like I needed in my life, and what I wanted didn't exist. Same thing with FaffCon. FaffCon was the event I wanted to go to. I wanted to sign up and go to FaffCon, so I could just wait until something, FaffCon never happened. But I didn't think it ever would. So I started it because it's what I wanted. And I hoped that somebody else felt that way too. And same thing with the stand-up groups. I'm in my stand-up group every morning at 8:00, and it's changed my life. It's what I needed. I needed those. I feel uncomfortable whenever anybody thanks me about anything having to do with, and I'm not going to cry, but there's no way that I have ever contributed anywhere near as much to this whole FaffCon movement as what it has given me. There's just no comparison. FaffCon has changed my life, and the people that come to FaffCon, we all change each other's lives. It's the real deal.
Absolutely. So if someone wants to, there's still room to get into FaffCamp?
Yeah, we've got room.
Oh, good. How do people go if they want to go to Charlotte in May?
Yeah.
How do they do it?
Well, they just go to FaffCamp.com, and there's a little orange button in the upper right-hand corner. Explore the site, check out all the content, send an email to faffy@faffcon.com if you're confused about something, or if you're not sure if it's for you, or if you have any questions. And just click on that button and register. And then you'll be able to select the breakouts that there's some really amazing content where our main stage speakers, we've got Bob Sauer is going to be leading a session called Invite the Avalanche, How to Have More Work Than You Can Handle. And some of these are all talks that were incubated at FaffCon events and are being refined and developed into being world-class presentations. So, with new information and a more polished, content-rich presentation of some of these concepts. Dan Friedman, Audition Audio, Sound That Books. Doug Turkel, VO MBA, Career Best Practices. How kick-ass is that? Roel Gorman, Character Voices You Didn't Know You Had in You. Huh.
And then he didn't know he had in him.
Yeah. And then on top of that, we've got improv and corporate presentations and commercials and recording on the road and a lot of business stuff and rates, negotiating, and just, it's clearly a program geared toward people who are genuinely wanting to wake up and make a living at this, not people who are, who are at the microphone. Wow, I really love the way I ended that word. These are, this is for people. Their business. So yeah, just register and then show up and help us make magic.
Magic it is. And Amy, thanks for being with us tonight. We've been talking along here. It's like
time vacuum. It was like a wormhole.
Yes. One other thing I wanted to show you though is if you haven't seen Frank and Mike here, he's not wearing it as a sock. He's wearing it as a hat.
It suits it.
The official Amy. How did you come up with this thing?
Well, I've been playing with this concept for about 2 years. About I find these things here's this terry cloth bath mitt and microphone dust cover, and so, but this isn't, this is all the blood rushed to his head. It's upside down. And then one day I was just sort of like, oh, a mitten, and so then I took the mitten and then I stuck the thumb in, and I thought, well, now we've got a place to put our MicPort Pro or something, and and then I thought, well, then I think I'm just going to send these to some friends for Christmas. But then I got sick and these didn't get out on time. Then so I designed this totally as seen on TV. Then I was writing these crazy ass instructions for it, but it just like became this project that got out of control. It's just silly.
It was delightful to get, and I use it proudly here.
Well, I appreciate that. It was just a silly thing. I still have some in the other room that haven't gone out yet. Because I tried to get it all done before the holidays, and so there are people who still haven't gotten theirs yet.
Yes, and then we've got FaffCon coming up in October in Texas. Can't wait for that either.
Antonio, Texas, at the Omni San Antonio Colonnade. Great hotel. If you loved our hotel in Charlotte, and a lot of people said, why can't we just take this hotel with us at each time? That's what we found with Antonio Colonnade. Friday night, we're going to be down at the Riverwalk. Oh my God, going to be fantastic. Get into FaffCon gets harder each time. So if you really, really, really want to come to a Faff event this year, and you're like, sure, you really want to make sure you're, and you can only go to one, please come to FaffCamp so that you won't be, cursing my name because you didn't get into FaffCon.
Amy, looking forward to seeing you and in October, but I'm sure I'll see you before then because I think I'll be out in California sometime this summer. But good luck with FaffCamp. I can't wait to hear the reports of that, and we will see you very shortly, I'm sure.
Thank you, gentlemen. I sure appreciate the chance to come out here and hang out with you guys.
Thanks for joining us. Thank you so much.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. All righty. We'll be right back. More stuff to come. Yeah, there's still some stuff left here on East West Audio Body Shop. So stay where you are for a bit.
VoiceOver Extra, the voiceover industry's online news, education, and resource center 24/7. Hundreds, probably thousands of free how-to articles for voiceover success, ranging from home studio to voice acting to business. A free voiceover industry directory, calendar of industry events, resource links, a store, and much more. Bi-monthly webinars on all topics of voiceover, free subscriptions to newsletters, reports, announcements, daily news, and features at voiceoverextra.com. VoiceOver Extra, the voiceover industry's online news, education, and resource center 24/7. Hundreds, probably thousands of free how-to articles for voiceover success, ranging from home studio to voice acting to business. A free voiceover industry directory, calendar of industry events, resource links, a store, and much more. Bi-monthly webinars on all topics of voiceover, free subscriptions to newsletters, reports, announcements, daily news, and features at voiceoverextra.com.
We're back. Sharing a little bit about
voiceover essentials.
Voiceover essentials.
I'm at, Harlan's a great guy. I mean, we know him personally, and we're glad he's a sponsor, but he does great stuff. One of the great little products he has is what you see Terry with here. It's the Portabooth Plus.
Yeah, I thought maybe. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I have one in my hand here, actually.
I thought maybe we could sort of compare and contrast the two real quick, just like the Pro and the Plus.
Well, I have the Pro, but unfortunately, it's in the basement. You don't want me running down there right now.
No, I'm just going to jump back and forth on the website. So we're looking at the Plus right now.
Well, she's got the Plus. I have the Plus too. This is also the Plus.
Mm-hmm.
But you can try and find a shot of the Pro too. They are the Plus was an improvement because it's stiffer. And today, actually, our good friend J.S. Gilbert, who we're going to have to get on the show soon, we were discussing something on a forum, and someone said, "How do you use an iPad with this?" And nobody could figure it out. And and using an Ep.85, which he doesn't have, but But you know, the VO1A also works very nicely with this.
Mm-hmm.
You can read into this thing just by putting your iPad on top of it. And there's a technique to using this that a lot of people don't understand. Once they get it, you know, Harlan and I are perfectly willing to teach you how to use it, because once you figure it out, it's a great unit, and it really is great for travel. It can be used, you know, as part of your mainline studio, but you know, you still have to do some other acoustical accoutrements.
Yeah.
But it does work very, very well for what it's designed for, and that is for being on the road.
So the Portabooth Plus is a great product. We all know it well, and it works great for $189. So
great
who do you
price,
think
too.
the Pro? Who do you think would want to go up to the Pro?
Who would want to go up to the Pro? Well, if you want to have enough room for your underwear when you're traveling, it's pretty good for that.
It's true. It does come with like a really travel-worthy case. That's
true.
Very heavy duty, and you can put a lot more equipment in the booth before you fold it up, or as you're folding it up. You can actually pack your equipment within the folds of the booth.
That's right.
And travel with your gear in there. The bag is definitely travel-worthy. Definitely don't. If you do put your equipment in the unit, I wouldn't check it. I would try to carry it on the plane.
It will fit on a larger plane. It fits very easily in the rack there. And I've actually been on small planes with it, and I had no trouble. You know, you can always gate check that too, so it's only in your hands. But they're both great units.
It's physically larger. It can accommodate a larger mic a little bit more easily. It's got an included light that can be mounted inside it very easily, and it's just a little bit more rugged overall in construction. And so it's either one of them, especially since his latest iteration of the Pro, where now they're both using RLX foam.
Yep.
The quality is really out. He's really knocking it out of the park. So.
He really did a great job in developing this. It was a great idea, and he made a great idea even better.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a Portabooth Plus or a Portabooth Pro, we suggest you go right over there right now, over to VoiceOver after our show, and go over there and order one of those.
VoiceOverEssentials.com.
Thank you, Harlan.
You're the man, Harlan. We really
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Anyway, by the way, Studio Suit is going to be on VoiceOver Essentials. So
oh, good. I was hoping. I mean, that makes total sense.
I had to convince him it was good.
Sure.
We did that install in Chicago, and and he actually came all the way from Great Barrington, which was a long drive for him.
Mm-hmm.
Wanted to see it. He was convinced, and now once we figured out all the logistics to it, we're going to start offering it on VoiceOver Essentials.
Cool. Hey, I've got a few clips from NAMM show. Shall I show a few more clips, and then we'll call it a night?
I think that's a good idea.
All right, I got three of them. I got one from, speaking of RLX, I've got one about a new product they're making. I've got one about the new Apogee 1. And I've got one from Mic Tech, which makes this bizarre USB microphone. So I figured
There's a new Apogee 1?
There's a new Apogee 1. Yes,
Wow.
You will see it here in just a second. So let's see how these come across. Let me put okay, here we go.
Brian, tell me about the new stuff that you've got offering here at RLX.
Yes, absolutely. What we have here is the Progo, and what this is. In fact, oh, can I? Thank you. It's a Progo. This is a 2-foot by 6-foot acoustical. Down a little bit. Okay. This is a 2-foot by 6-foot acoustical barrier. Portable. It actually comes with a base, and what it is it's 2 different sized Pro panels. You can see the seam right here in the middle. It's beveled, and on the back it's exactly the same. It's actually 2 1-inch, and you can see the seam on the side. 1-inch panels that are actually glued together, and they come with the base. And really, it's the concept is very simple. It's just to use it in run-and-gun recording situations. If you want to do a vocal track mobile, if you want to do a guitar track mobile, if you want to separate, say, try and get some separation between an acoustic guitar player and a vocalist, things like that.
How about a home voiceover studio where you just want to rig up something that your wife won't kill you every time you pull it out and put it away?
You know what? And that's that actually is a nice segue into another product that we came out with. Is that okay? Great. This I would say is probably more of a commercial studio type of application, or where you're doing a lot of recording with the multiple different like instruments and things like that. What we have here is called the Desk Max. This is actually two 2-foot by 2-foot by 3-inch panels, and as you can see, we have the nice. The folks at Blue were nice enough to give us a Yeti. But basically, what we're looking at is a lot of people are doing voiceovers and vocal recording at home now, and a lot of them don't have a dedicated space to put a vocal booth in. So what this is, you can actually set this up on your project desk essentially, and eat up those reflections and the off-axis reflections and the reflections coming off the drywall, and get a nice clean vocal recording. And it's all completely portable. It comes with the stands and everything. I would say that I believe that retail is $199 and MAP is like $179.
Okay, we're here at Apogee's booth, and we're going to learn about the One from Sean here. How you doing, Sean?
How you doing, George? Thanks for stopping by.
So the One is now being able to be connected to an iPad. Why is that so cool?
Well, we think the iPad's an amazing universe for music creation and audio recording. Incredibly portable. There's an amazing number of applications that are being developed. We see it as an emerging professional platform. So our mission at the show and this year was to bring professional audio interface technology to the platform, and One is our entry point for that effort. So, in terms of what makes an audio interface professional for iPad, we feel there's a few criteria, and one of them is a direct digital connection. So we worked hard to redesign our circuitry. So our connection to the iOS universe was certifiable by Apple, their MFI program. So there's a standard that we meet there for that. And then power, we charge the iPad when you're connected. One could use an AC power, but it can also run on batteries. So when it's in AC power mode, it'll be charging the iPad while you're working. So there's no loss in time where you're working or messing around with that stuff. Then software control. We have an app called Maestro that we've been developing on the Mac side for years, and we ported Maestro over to iOS, and we've customized it for every device. So there's a Retina display version and an iPod version and an iPad version. So we think all those things make our offering really appealing to professionals, and we feel like we're really excited about this year and expanding into this space. The software that's happening, ARIA, GarageBand, the things like Audio Bus that are connecting it all. It's a really revolutionary time, and we're happy to be riding the front of the wave.
Oh, yeah. And there's a really good editor right now out that's not so well known. It's called Twisted Wave.
Right, indeed.
It's a really good, we love it in the voiceover industry. It's the best editor I've ever seen for an iPad.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And our other product, our microphone products, Mic, that's Twisted Wave's one of the apps that a lot of our users prefer for voiceover. Mic, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned, we've updated the sound quality in this unit. So the level of quality has increased. It'll record at 96K now. The microphone, the built-in microphone, was upgraded as well. New capsule, and it's a fantastic microphone audio interface combo.
When you say it'll run on batteries, does that mean a battery pack, like a USB battery type situation?
So there's a battery tray on the back, 2 AA batteries, real convenient. You can pop into the 7-Eleven.
Oh, it's internal batteries. Yeah. Oh, that's unique. I've been waiting for that.
Oh, great. Well, here it is. Yeah, so we felt that a couple AA's would be real convenient for customers. There's other ways to go with that, but I think it'll be a really powerful feature for field recording.
Yeah, we've been kludging it together by using battery packs like this USB battery down here, you see?
Right.
And having to, come up with creative ways to do it, but to have it self-powered is fantastic.
Yeah, we thought integrating it would be the way to go. So, yeah, so it will self-power. It's not charging the iPad at that point, but it does indeed charge the iPad when it's plugged in.
Well, thanks very much, John. I really appreciate it. Congratulations on the new product. This is going to be a pretty big deal for the voiceover business, because this now really becomes a one solution box for travel and a home studio. So awesome.
All in one. All in one.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Sounds like you had a good time.
Yeah, I did actually. It's probably I enjoyed it very much, and I was as much a spectacle as the products I was covering because of the crazy video rig I had cobbled together for the event.
Yeah, you're sort of like the Google truck walking through there.
I was almost like the Google Street View car, almost with the rig I had. It was hilarious.
Yeah, really. Okay, well, we're running out of time here. Well, we're really not, but I'm running out of time.
Yeah,
you got to eat dinner.
Running out.
How was your soup, by the way?
I ate my dinner. It was great.
All right.
It was great.
Excellent. All right, we got the next couple of weeks, great stuff. Next Sunday, March 10th, Chuck and Stacy will be here from VoiceOver Buzz Weekly.
VO Buzz Weekly hosts were joining us. That's amazing. We're crossing the streams, everybody.
That's right. Well, it's an incestuous business. What can I say?
I love it.
But they're going to be here, and that should be a lot of fun. We talked with them when we were at Voice 2012, and now we get to sit down and relax with them. And you've been on their show, and I'm hoping to be on their show one of these days, maybe this summer when I come out to California.
Got to come out.
And so make sure you're here for that next week. That ought to be wild. So, because I'm going to have to pump myself up to be like Chuck. Should be interesting. Not exactly the same style.
Mm-hmm.
Then next week, we've rearranged some stuff because we've had somebody had to cancel out. So we have moved up the amazing Audio Masters Roundtable to the 17th. So is that St. Patrick's Day? When is St. Patrick's Day?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's not usually on a Sunday, St. Patty's Day, is it? Or is it the same every year?
Yeah, it's so usually, yeah.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter, because even if you're drunk, you should still be there.
That's right. Especially.
I know Uncle Roy's going to be there, but no, it'll be you, me, Uncle Roy, Joe Van Ripper, and Cliff Zellman, who is in there. And
everybody's confirming that St. Patty's Day is the 17th, so it's going to be an extra raucous roundtable.
An extra raucous roundtable. We're going to run it like the McLaughlin Group. So if you come in, and watch the show, we will be taking questions from the audience, and
it will be Google Hangout, but it'll be on Ustream like you guys are used to seeing.
Right, and so it'll be our show. It'll just be on a slightly different format, but 5 guys that really know what they're talking about when it comes to voiceover audio, and it'll be a very interesting conversation. We've met all before because we're on the committee with for technical standards with World Voices, and the conversations were fascinating. I'm like,
at least to the 5 of us, they were.
Hey, look, it's just the stuff you and I are always talking about. And people seem to keep showing up for this. So let's add 3 other guys, and maybe it'll even be more exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so that's coming up on the 17th, and then on April 7th, Joyce Castellanos will be joining us. So,
or if we're on the West Coast, Joyce Castellanos.
See.
See, I learned these things after being here 9 years.
Yeah, I got into an argument with some Spanish guy this week on one of the forums, and he was like, "I know how to do this," and I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah,
I didn't understand what he was talking.
You didn't
about.
know he knows how to do what?
How to do home studio stuff.
Oh,
he was apparently the ultimate expert.
Well, he should come on our show. We'd love to have him.
That's right. He's in Mexico City.
Okay. Well, that'd be cool. I mean, we should have a more international feel to the show anyway.
That's true. We've only had people from Canada.
Yeah.
Oh, we had the one guy from China, though.
That's true. The expat.
That's right.
My friend Bobby Brill. Yep.
Yes. Anyway, so that's coming up next week. I think that pretty much does it for this week. if that wasn't enough, there's still plenty more we could talk about. But anyway, that's going to do it for us this week. Join us next week. And if you have any questions, or you want to get in touch with us, please write to us at ewabshop@gmail.com. And we'll be happy to talk to you about whatever it is you want to talk to us about, especially if it's sponsorship. So
that's right. And if you can join us live to be in the chat room, we're on 6 p.m. and Pacific time almost every Sunday. That's 9 o'clock on the East Coast. And
there's some people that come in like at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And the East Coast, it's like, what, you want a better seat? What? I don't quite follow that.
Well, the chat room, I guess the way the chat room works is as long as somebody's in there, it's working. So I don't know. Looking at better chat room options in the future. So
we want to make it better. Anyway, that's going to do it for us this week. I'm Dan Leonard in the East.
And I'm George Whittam in the West.
And together we are East West Audio Body Shop. Have a great week, everybody. We will see you next Sunday.
Ciao.
Aloha.